The big story, at the risk of sounding repetitive, is the return of Wing Commander Abhinandan Varthaman. Just a few minutes back, 9:21 p.m. to be precise, he crossed over to the Indian side from the at the Wagah-Atari border. The Pakistani side finally handed him over, and these are images of him crossing the border, literally. He was supposed to return before noon today, but the medical examination apparently took inordinately long. We do not know the full story of what happened and what caused the delay. And that is something that we'll have to wait for. Very little by way of information coming from the Indian side. But this is what has happened. He's finally come back home, and come back home within 48 hours. Over the years, India has fought many battles against its enemies, starting from the 1947, when India fought 4 wars against Pakistan over these past 70 years. India emerged victorious in all of them, but these wars come at a cost. And sometimes the cost includes our soldiers. Soldiers who were captured by the Pakistani forces, some who were lucky enough to have made it back alive, many who did not. Tonight we want to tell you about military officials who've been held as prisoners of war by Pakistan and what happened.
Wing Commander Abhinandan Varthaman's capture by Pakistani forces and the much-awaited safe release by Pakistani government certainly brings back memories of other military officials who have been held as prisoners of war by Pakistan. In 1965, K.C. Cariappa was a young flight squadron leader. While flying near the border, his plane was shot down and was captured by the Pakistani military. The son of Field Marshal K.M. Cariappa, first Indian Chief of Armed Forces of Independent India, K.C. Cariappa spent 5 months in the POW camps before being repatriated to India. Flight Lieutenant Dilip Parulkar's plane was shot down during the Indo-Pak War of 1971 and was subsequently taken prisoner. Parulkar, along with 2 other IAF officials, made a daring attempt to escape the Pakistani prison. Though they were successful in their attempts, they were eventually captured again. Parulkar and others were finally released in December 1972. Group Captain Kambampati Nachiketa was captured by Pakistani troops in May 1999 during the Kargil War. He had to eject from his MiG-27 after facing a technical snag. He was in Pakistan's custody for 8 days, where he underwent through severe mental and physical torture. Nachiketa was the lone POW of the Kargil War to have made it back alive to the Indian soil, after mounting pressure from United Nations and international media forced Pakistan to release him. Squadron leader Ajay Ahuja was also captured by Pakistani forces at roughly the same time as Group Captain Nachiketa. After his plane was shot down, Ahuja was taken as a prisoner of war. Seen as a highly questionable and highly criticized action by Pakistani forces, squadron leader Ahuja was shot dead. Post-mortem reports had cited 2 bullet wounds, one in the head and one in the chest from close range. 6 officers, including Captain Saurabh Kalia, were captured on 14th May 1999 by the Pakistani forces. And what can only be termed as a gross violation of the Geneva Convention, Captain Kalia and 5 other soldiers' mutilated remains were handed over to India on 6 June 1999. While India accused Pakistan of breaching the Geneva Convention, Pakistan still maintains that Captain Kalia and his men were never captured by Pakistani forces. They died due to extreme weather conditions and that their bodies were found in a pit. While these have been tales of those who did make it back to the Indian soil, whether on their feet or wrapped in the tricolour, 54 soldiers of Indian Armed Forces who went MIA in the 1971 Indo-Pak War are still believed to be languishing in various Pakistani prisons. The 54 POWs have come to be known as the Missing 54. Bureau Report, Wion, World is One.